Week 4 is officially in the books. Week 5 is upon us. These are my SEC football power rankings entering Week 5 of the 2025 season. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you're on YouTube, we are inching ever so close to 25,000 subscribers. And, of course, we cannot do it without your love and support. Also, guys, make sure you check out our friends over at FanDuel, because as always, we are powered by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel.com/SECU to get in on the action today. Get started with $250 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, FanDuel.com/SECU to get in on the action today. If you can believe it, Week 5 of the season is already upon us. It was an entertaining Week 4, no doubt. That being said, these are my power rankings entering week number 5 of the 2025 SEC football season. Starting at number 16, I've got the Kentucky Wildcats, guys. No surprise here, no change here. I am very intrigued by Mark Stoops handing the football to Cutter Boley as they go into South Carolina on Saturday night. The spread in that one via our friends at FanDuel is really interesting, with the Cats only being around a touchdown favorite or so. What can Cutter Boley give this offense? That is the big question. But again, Kentucky sitting firmly in that 16 spot for now. At number 15, I've got the Arkansas Razorbacks. Guys, admittedly, I hated to be wrong because I picked Memphis to beat Arkansas. It's not because I think this Arkansas team is necessarily a bad team. It's because you can't trust the Hogs on a week-in, week-out basis, and they showed us why in that game against Memphis. Now, with that being said, I think Arkansas has the chance to do the funniest thing, and I actually think they will do it. This is my upset special of the week yet again. I've got Arkansas in an upset, but this time it's them pulling the upset. But it all comes back to Taylon Green. Can T. Will get that defense figured out? Tough times right now in Fayetteville as Sam Pittman is essentially a dead man walking. Hogs firmly in the 15 spot. At 14, guys, I've got the Florida Gators. Let's just call this last row the row of sadness, because that's essentially what this is. Florida in the 14 spot, coming off the loss to Miami, 61 passing yards for DJ Lagway. The offense is absolutely inept. Billy Napier refuses to give up play calling duties. The season's going nowhere fast, essentially, for Florida. It's essentially already has gone nowhere fast. You've got the bye week this week, then you host Texas. That kind of feels like, to me, guys, the last chance, the last hurrah to really make anything out of this season. If you go out there against Texas and get your doors blown off, if Florida doesn't fire Billy Napier by that Monday, I think you're just kind of spinning your wheels and wasting time at that point, delaying the inevitable. Who knows? If you could go out and do something crazy and pull the upset over the horns, maybe, just maybe, you can salvage something of your season. But really, really tough days in Gainesville. I think the only conversation Gator fans want to have is who is going to be the next head coach. At number 13, guys, I got the South Carolina Gamecocks. Saw them in person over the weekend. Death taxes and South Carolina's offensive line and offensive coordinator being issues for Shane Beamer's program. Mike Shula is not the answer at OC. I think everyone understands that. Finishing a game with negative rushing yards, whether it includes sack yardage or not, is absolutely insane. To be an SEC football team and not to be able to get over negative rushing yards. They've got serious problems in the run game. They've got serious problems on the offensive line. Guys, thankfully they do have Lenoris Sellers, because without Lenoris Sellers, this would be a 4-8 team. And this might be maybe the worst team in the SEC. At least they'd be fighting for that spot. They sit at 13 for me. Lenoris Sellers still gives them a chance in essentially every single game, but they've got so many question marks across the board. Got to patch things up defensively as well. It's just, I'll tell you this. You get Kentucky at home this weekend. You better not lose that one. Shane Beamer's not getting fired this year, but you talk about somebody's seat heating up. It'll heat up. You lose to Kentucky at home at night on Saturday. Guys, number 12, I got Mississippi State. How about the Dogs sitting at 4-0? What a world we live in. That Mississippi State is 4-0 and has an opportunity this weekend. Tennessee coming to town. If the Dogs can pull the upset, 5-0 and ranked for Jeff Levy's team is what they'll be. Crazy to think about. Mississippi State, again, it's been a great start to the season. Let's see if they can carry it over into SEC play. That's the big question. Number 11, I got the Auburn Tigers. I feel encouraged by what I saw from Auburn against Oklahoma, if you can believe that. Obviously a game filled with tons of calls impacted by the refs. You could argue that Auburn got robbed in that game. Some of those calls certainly extremely questionable. And I'll go as far as to say, yeah, they got robbed on a couple calls. I will admit that. I will admit that. The bottom line is this, though. You give up 10 sacks in a game, you don't deserve to win. I'll stand on that. You don't deserve to win a game where your offensive line surrenders 10 sacks. That being said, I thought Jackson Arnold was pretty good in the game. Cam Coleman's a freak, and that defense is one that you can win with. Big test this weekend in College Station, but big opportunity for Auburn to go back on the road and steal a big win and pull an upset. Again, feel good about Auburn after the Oklahoma game, but Jackson Arnold's got to be just a little bit better, right? The offensive line got to be better if you're going to go on the road and beat high-quality teams like an Oklahoma or an A&M. Number 10, I've got Alabama. Guys, Alabama low ranking, like I talked about the last few weeks. It really stems from the bump they got in week 1. Listen, beating ULM was great. Beating Wisconsin was awesome. This is where this weekend we're going to find out what Bama is. Like this is the weekend that's going to tell us everything we need to know. At Bama, you're measured up against games like these. It's not about beating ULM. It's not about beating Wisconsin. It's about going toe-to-toe with Georgia and Athens and beating them and doing what you've done to Georgia over the last decade plus or so. So what is Alabama, right? Is Ty Simpson that guy that I placed a Heisman wager on in the preseason that potentially could ascend and take off and be in New York at season's end? Or is Alabama going to be the more of the same of what we saw last year under Kalen DeBoer, 8-4, 9-3, and talks of his job security resurfacing? Guys, big game for Bama too. You lose this game, you'll have 2 losses in the month of September going into October for the first time since 2007. Kalen DeBoer and company making history in his first year plus there, and not the positive kind. Number 9, I got the Ole Miss Rebels. Trinidad Chambliss take over as the star of the SEC. That dude has been absolutely incredible to this point in the season. Big test against LSU upcoming. Once again, like some of these other teams, it's funny. We're going into week 5. We still have tons of questions across the conference. Is Trinidad Chambliss really him? I know he sliced up the Arkansas defense, so it's not like he hasn't played SEC competition. But facing this LSU defense is different. It's flat out different, right? The way they've played this year, they are elite. LSU's got their own questions on the offensive side we'll talk more about here shortly. But for Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, hotty toddy, huge opportunity at home. Is Trinidad Chambliss really him? We're going to find out. Number 8, I got the Texas Longhorns, guys. Texas beating Sam Houston State the way they should, the way you'd expect. Arch Manning finally looks competent against lesser competition. This is kind of like the Bama conversation where it's like, good on you, Texas. You got Arch Manning flexing on a Sam Houston guy because he really did something, and I get it. The kid's letting out frustration. He's excited. I love to see emotion, but, you know, maybe a little bit much. Obviously, the media has run with it all across the national landscape. But I've got Texas at 8 because, again, all we've seen of you against competition, picking on somebody your own size, is the Ohio State game. Then you had 3 lesser than opponents. 2 of the 3 you struggle with. You finally beat up on somebody in Sam Houston State, one of the worst teams in college football. Now you go into the bye. Now you go into Florida. And you know what's crazy, guys? Even with Florida struggles, the storyline around Arch Manning and that offense should be exactly the same, and it will be exactly the same. I don't know if I can trust Arch Manning to go into the swamp and beat a Florida team with a pretty darn good defense. I don't know. I think he's capable of it, but I just don't know. I haven't seen it. So still lots of questions to answer for Texas. The good news is this: you are 3-1, but nothing really to base off of the last 3 weeks. I mean, you've been playing slapdick state 3 weeks straight. There ain't really nothing to hang your hat on there. Number 7, I got the Vanderbilt Commodores. Guys, how about this Vandy team? I mean, my goodness. Back-to-back wins, or at least, sitting undefeated early in this season. It's crazy. My brain almost doesn't compute what Vandy is right now, putting belt to ass over Georgia State. You got Utah State at home this weekend. You're going to beat them. Guys, Vandy is going to be 5-0 going into the game in Tuscaloosa. And if Bama loses to Georgia, guys, Vandy's going to be ranked ahead of Alabama in that matchup. Again, what kind of Looney Tunes crazy world are we living in? But the reality is this Vandy team is a darn good football team. This isn't some cute story anymore. This isn't some, oh, man, look at Vandy. Good for them. What a start. You better be taking Vandy very, very seriously because Diego Pavia, Eli Stowers, Cedric Alexander, Junior Sherrill, what they're doing defensively, Clark Lee is their head coach. Like, this is just a good football team top to bottom. Despite what some others in the media want to say out there that Vandy's not all that good, bullshit. Vandy's a good football team. They continue to show it week after week. They're going to be 5-0 after this weekend. What an incredible story. If you haven't done so already, shame on you. But it's time to put some serious respect on the Commodores. Time to put some serious respect on the doors of what they're doing down in the West End. Number 6, I got the Missouri Tigers. Guys, saw Mizzou in Como. Really impressive group. The passing game struggled a little bit against South Carolina. Bo Prabula wasn't quite as sharp. But, guys, that two-headed monster with Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts, it's about as good as it gets in the SEC. I mean, Ahmad Hardy's a freak. He's outpacing, if you can believe this, he's outpacing what Derrick Henry did in his Heisman Trophy season. Like, that's insane when you actually think about it. Also, extremely salty on the defensive front. I mean, again, guys, I know South Carolina's got their problems, but you hold anybody to negative rushing yards, that's a testament to how good you are on the defensive line. So it's another salty defense under Corey Batoon. Eli Drinkwitz, again, this is a program that is just, for whatever reason, perpetually underrated, perpetually disrespected at every turn. Once again, shout out to the fine folks at Columbia, Missouri. We had an absolute blast all around the city for Roe Field. The game was incredible. This Mizzou team, though, real college football playoff contender. We should be talking about them that way. This Mizzou team, a really damn good football team, and a big win to get the Mayor's Cup on Saturday. Obviously, this weekend, by the way, they take on UMass, so nothing of note for Mizzou. Then the bye week, then they host Alabama in Como. That could be a fun one. Maybe College Game Day. Maybe they come out to Como for you. Number 5, I got the Tennessee Volunteers. Guys, Tennessee just picking up another big win. The offense continues to roll. They beat up on UAB. I said I loved how the schedule shook out after the Georgia game. I did because, again, I think they were able to obviously get back to the drawing board, go out against UAB, build some momentum, feel good about yourself. I'm not even going to call it a trap game because a trap game would insinuate that, they're taking it lightly. It's a big game this weekend in Starkville. And yes, I know this is a game over the summer. I had an upset special. I picked Mississippi State to beat Tennessee. I have actually flipped my pick this week. I am going with Tennessee to get this win. But I'll tell you, Josh Heupel, every year there's a signature road loss mixed in. Is there not? There is. You're a Tennessee fan. You know I'm right. There is one mixed in. Is this the one? Or can Tennessee avoid said road loss? 1-3 in your last 4 road games, by the way. Can Tennessee avoid said road loss and beat a really good, at this point, Mississippi State team, a team with a lot of momentum, a lot of excitement? Cowbells will be ringing. They're wearing the white block MSU helmets. Can the offense continue to roll? Joey Aguilar be efficient, taking care of the football, and that defense have a bit of a bounce-back performance from their first SEC contest against Georgia? But Tennessee still in the 5 spot for me, really high on the balls. It starts with the offensive side and what they're doing right now with QB1. Number 4, I got Texas A&M. Guys, it feels like Texas A&M hasn't played in forever because the Aggies are coming off a bye week. Obviously, their last time in action was against Notre Dame, where they won that game in a thriller. This weekend is the kind of game where we determine, is this new A&M or old A&M? And maybe that's unfair. I'm sure there's some Aggies out there watching that just rolled their eyes at me saying that, but it's true, right? Like the Notre Dame game, the big games, A&M has never struggled to get up for. They've never struggled to get up for those games. It's games like these in College Station, a favorite, a game you feel like you should win. Does A&M come out flat? Or does Marcel Reed, that group of receivers, that 3-headed monster running back, that big physical offensive line, do they come out clicking in all cylinders? Does that defense have a rebound performance from what happened in South Bend. It's an interesting game. A game flying a bit under the radar this weekend, but a big one, no doubt. But again, I still like the Aggies. I've got them at 4. Number 3, I've got LSU. You beat up on Southeastern Louisiana. Congratulations. They actually dropped a spot for me, guys, because of our team at number 2 we'll get into in a second. But LSU at 3, hey, listen, this weekend in Oxford, are you for real or are you a fraud? That's what I want to know about LSU. You for real or you a fraud? Because, hey, you're sitting. Your record looks pretty. You're sitting at 4-0. But we all know your offense ain't done a damn thing all season. I don't care what you did against Southeastern Louisiana. That don't mean a jack shit to me. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you did. This is the weekend we'll find out what the offense looks like. Can you run the football against the poorest rush defense? What does Garrett Nussmeier give you? What does that group of receivers give you? What does the offense as a whole give you? Because the defense is going to show up. Week in, week out, they're going to give you an opportunity to win. Will the offense hold up their end of the bargain? Maybe it's a season where you do win ugly. Maybe so. But if LSU is going to reach their full potential, that offense is going to have to play better. They're going to have to run the football better. Garrett Nussmeier are going to have to be more consistent. Bottom line. There's just no discussion. But right now, I've still got LSU at 3. I still believe in what LSU can be. But this weekend, it's time to get going. Number 2, I've got Oklahoma. Oklahoma jumps up for me, guys. Again, big wins over Michigan and Auburn early in the season. I'm a believer in the Sooners. Call me crazy. Maybe I got too much of that Sooner magic rubbed off on me when I went to Norman, but I believe in what Oklahoma's doing. Now, with that being said, if you take John Mateer off this football team for long term, an extended period of time, they are not the second best team in the conference. Far from it. All due respect to Michael Hawkins Jr., if Michael Hawkins Jr. was John Mateer, they wouldn't have got out and got John Mateer. So I'm fine with keeping him at 2 right now. You know, the good news is this, guys, you have a bye week, then you play Kent State, so it's like you have 2 bye weeks. We will see if John Mateer is back for the Red River Shootout. I would probably say he's not going to be, which is a shame. Good news is this. You've got some leeway in regards to the playoff. That's just one loss. Maybe he's back by the South Carolina game the following week, or certainly the Ole Miss game the week after that. So all eyes are on the status of John Mateer. That is the big question, because everything else, here's the big thing I'll say for Oklahoma. The biggest thing they've got to solve, and John Mateer being out forces them to do so, can you run the football conventionally? Can you produce a running game conventionally? Meaning it not being having to rely on the creativity of using John Mateer to get outside the pocket and do different things. He's their leading rusher right now. They rank essentially at the bottom of the conference in most statistics, if not essentially all statistics, from the running back position specifically. They have not been good. Jaden Ott has been a bust. Call it for what it is. He has been the definition of a bust. And Blaylock's a good player. Don't get me wrong. They got some guys, but nobody's really done much of anything. So you're going to have to run the football conventionally. Sure, use Michael Hawkins' running ability as well, but you got to be able to run the football. The defense is elite. You got that, and just pray to God John Mateer comes back as quickly as possible. And, guys, at number 1, I've got the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia, obviously, with the bye week, same as Alabama to prepare for this matchup, the Georgia-Bama game. Yeah, this one's big this weekend. Super, super stoked to get to Athens. Cannot wait to be at Sanford Stadium. It's going to be an absolute electric factory. The entire weekend is going to be incredible. How much does history play into this one? Does it matter? Does it matter that Georgia hasn't beaten Alabama in the regular season since 2007? Does it matter that Georgia hasn't beaten Alabama in Athens since 2003? Does it matter that the last time they met in Athens, Bama destroyed Georgia 38-10? Does it matter that Kirby Smart is, I believe, 1-6 against Alabama in his tenure as Georgia head coach? Does it matter that Kalen DeBoer is undefeated coming off bye weeks? Like, do all those things, do they matter? Or are streaks made to be broken and Georgia's able to finally take advantage and beat the Alabama Crimson Tide in the regular season in Athens? The stage is set for Georgia. I mean, this is the one that's circled on their calendar. This was the one that was circled on the schedule, guys. For both these teams, this is how you'll be judged for both of these teams. Going to be an all-out war on Saturday night, but still feel really good about calling this Georgia team the best team in the SEC. You want to be the best, you got to beat the best. Bama's got a chance to do that. Georgia with an opportunity to defend their crown. So, guys, again, those are my power rankings entering Week 5. I'd love to hear from you. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? And how would you power rank the teams of the SEC entering Week 5 of the season? Guys, that's going to do all for me. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Before we get out of here, I do want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel because, as always, we are brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Guys, FanDuel's got you ready for the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets. If you win, that's right, pick a bet $5. And if it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. You can build parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style, FanDuel's got you covered. The NFL season is here. The only question is, are you ready to play? Visit FanDuel.com/SECU to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Once again, FanDuel.com/SECU to get in on the action today. Guys, once again, appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As I always mention, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, guys. We are inching ever so close to 25,000 subscribers. We can't do it without your love and support. So, again, make sure you do that. Also, check us out via podcast where you get those all across the social media platforms. We are on every single one. And our website, secunfiltered.com. Till next time, I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. And we will catch you all on the other side.